Good morning. It's Brandee, and I brought my partner Eric with me today because today there is a lot of charge in the air. Mars, the planet that rules physicality, aggression, anger, volatility, is opposite the sun. So, are you feeling this? Are you feeling within yourself this energy that you're not exactly sure how to deal with? So, Eric, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do?
So thanks for having me, Brandy. I am an anger management specialist. So this is what I deal with most days. People's anger and how to calm situations, how to de-escalate situations, how to communicate in ways that makes communication smoother, and yeah, more kind and loving. So yeah, I'm not sure if you're feeling it today. I feel a little something going on in me. So let's talk about
Yeah,
what we can do to
yeah.
just smooth things over.
Fantastic. So, first of all, one of the things that I noticed this morning within myself was like the first thing was like there was a situation and I was getting angry with myself, angry with the situation. And then I was noticing the energy that I was putting out because of the situation. I wanted to blame the situation, not to be responsible for any of it, but just to blame the situation. So, how would you support me in that step?
Well, humor is great. Humor is great. And humor is a great way to diffuse anger sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, and it has to be appropriate. But what you're really talking about is personal responsibility. And and sometimes we don't realize actually that we have choices in how we feel, first of all, and even in how we respond to situations. And sometimes we don't realize that how we feel is actually a choice. And if we actually sit with sometimes how we're feeling, it's not to kind of wash it away or sweep it under the rug or push it down. It's not That's not what I'm talking about when I say we have a choice. It's really to allow ourselves to feel whatever it is that's going on without reacting to it from an emotional perspective, without overreacting emotionally, um, and just taking time to regulate our nervous system is, and Brandee knows all about regulating nervous systems. She's a yoga teacher, so it's really her expertise. But just taking the time to sit with what we're feeling, relax into it, let it pass. Know that you don't have to react from that space. Know that you can find compassion for yourself and empathy for whatever it is that's going on with you, and that we don't need to externally react to the emotions that we're
Right.
feeling.
Yeah, thank you for that. So, what I heard many tips in what you just shared, and the first one is awareness. I just like, oh, I caught myself, and I was in that blame cycle. I was blaming an external situation where when I realized that, oh, I have a choice, as you said, I have a choice. I had a choice in how I choose to respond. So the first motion was, oh, I am reactive. So that is my suggestion today, or if this is a situation you're dealing with often, is to notice, oh, are you reactive? So reactive symptoms could be you're sweating, you're biting and clenching your jaw. What are some other reactive symptoms?
Well, when we're angry, our heart rate increases, our muscles tense.
Mhm.
For me personally, I get like a churning in my
Mm.
stomach. Like that's the first sign for me that I know that I'm ready to fight. Um, yeah, so heart rate, heat in the body, redness in the face, jaw clenching are all signs that we're in that fight, flight, or freeze state.
And all of that is Mars. So I just want to bring it back to the planets. And I know Eric's like, what are you talking about? But he hears me talk about it all the time. And the reason that really is so important is because there's a lot of volatility in the air today. So, how could we, as light beings, as energy workers, as therapists, as human beings, really be responsible for how we are showing up in the world and not adding to the aggression that is already in the cosmic energy. So, awareness, being aware if you are reactive, choosing a different response. So, different response, the first thing that came to me is okay, where am I feeling threatened? And how is this a familiar situation to me? Like, where else am I feeling like this in my life? Almost like a loss of control or a victim, or oh, it's happening again to me. There was nothing happening to me, right? But I was making up some big story. And yes, there's a situation that I get to deal with, but I get to choose. Is there any insight that you'd like to add to that?
Well, that to me phrase is very interesting. So sometimes we think something's happening to me as opposed to something's happening for me. And even in the events of our lives, there's something in every event that's either that's positive and negative. And sometimes we're focused on the negative, and that's the victim part of me that's happening to me. And sometimes we don't realize that something is happening for a reason, and it's for our own personal growth as well, and we lose sight of that. And so it's important to not see ourselves as a victim to the events that are around us, and to be able to find some kind of neutrality, to know that there's something good and something there's a pro and a con to each event that we're going through. But really what you're talking about, Brandee, is personal responsibility and all of this. I love that. And like, slow down.
Yeah.
If you're feeling angry, like, my best advice is really slow down, pause, stop, regulate yourself, regulate your nervous system, feel what's going on, and don't react from that space.
Yeah. So let's take a minute right now, and I'm just going to offer to everybody a moment of just regulating your own nervous system. And for me, like the first thing that I do, and a lot of times I start all my sessions with my clients, is just placing my hands on the heart. Do you want to do that with me too? So just take a moment right now, and if you feel comfortable, you could close your eyes. And I put a little bit of pressure so I could feel my heart beating. And allow yourself to release a long, deep sigh. Take a fresh breath in. Again, long, deep exhalation, releasing the shoulders, the jaw, and softening. And with your eyes closed right now, just see if you could drop into your body, out of the swirling mind, but just feeling the sensations in your body. And staying present to tuning in to the beating of your own heart. And allowing the body to relax. And when you're ready, drop your hands, relax your hands. One more long sigh out. And gently open your eyes. And just notice if there was a shift within yourselves. And if there's still a residual of tension, other ways, or getting up and shaking. I love just shaking, 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 shaking. Going for a short walk, brisk walk outside, and being mindful of if you're still in a charged state, it's not a time to be in deep, deep conversation, especially with your partner, your loved ones, your children, people that you're working with, to explain, okay, I just need another minute, to allow yourself permission to take a time out and to really continue to practice noticing the energy that you are transmitting, and sharing with those around you and with you. What is the energy that you want to be projecting and offering up to another? And if it's and if you're noticing that you're really charging the energy that you are presently in, how could you shift? Where do you get to shift? And understanding the way that you want to be in relationship. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. So, like we've been talking about in terms of responsibility, if your partner is angry, it's really not the time, like Brandy's saying, to be involved in conversation. And my response to her anger often could be anger itself, right? And this is how we end up escalating situations. And this is where the choice comes in, where I could either choose to be angry as well because she's angry, or I could choose to be empathetic, because we really say that empathy is the antidote to anger. And then we don't realize in the moment that we have that choice to either be angry in return or empathetic in response to somebody else being angry. So that's the big tip that I would give today, is realizing that you have that choice to respond either in anger or in empathy.
Thank you. So that is, we wanted to come on today. A lot of times, when Mars is strong in the air, I tell Eric, oh my God, your clients, you're going to be getting a lot of phone calls today. So how can we, doing this work in the world, astrology, yoga, and coaching, therapy, and supporting people in their relationships, fuse together to offer you support so that all of us could show up in our world in a greater capacity to bring healing and love into the world, which is what we stand for.
100%. Yeah. So if there's any questions, by all means, put them in the comments, and we'll be happy to respond to any of your questions.
Thank you for being with me here today.
My pleasure.
Bye for now.
Bye.